The fifth round at Oulton Park in Cheshire, one of the most picturesque yet demanding circuits in British motorsport, especially on the damp kind of day that confronted the drivers. Vauxhall were doubling their commitment to the championship with a car for the former champion Chris Hodgetts. Minor problems meant it missed practice, so had to do a routine handful of laps to qualify for a place on the back of the grid. This is a rear-wheel version of the successful Cavalier, teammate John Cleland having achieved his championship position with front-wheel drive.
I feel at the moment the front-wheel drive car is a better balanced car. The whole idea of Chris driving the car now is that we get some race experience with it and try and develop the car within a race. I still think that the front-wheel drive car it has a better balance and therefore is quicker through the fast corners. The car is not quite so good as the BMW is through the slow corners, but what we lose there we more than make up for in the fast ones. So at the moment I prefer the front-wheel drive car. But I'll tell you after today.
The conditions, damp yet showery, produce the regular slicks versus wet weather tyre choice for the drivers. Much debate, although Mike Newman, second from the right there, has already achieved pole position in the Listerine Sierra. Andy Rouse and Tim Harvey qualifying respectively second and third. And in fourth place, the double winner from the previous two rounds, Rob Gravitt, having a really close look at the rapidly drying track before opting, like most of the rest of the field, for slick, dry weather tyres. So the intermediates come off, the slicks go on. Frank Sittner remains a little coy about his precise choice, but elsewhere on the grid, feverish activity before the cars set off on what is apparently going to be just one warming-up lap. Mike Newman has already set the field on its way. Sean Walker there drove so well into second place at Silverstone, and the 2 litre cars leaving the pit lane. Full grid lineup, Newman achieving his pole position with one perfect lap that he never came close to repeating in practice. Rouse alongside him, needing a good result to keep his championship alive. Tim Harvey and the form-man Rob Gravitt on row 2, Walker and Good on row 3, and Cleland once again leads the 2 litre qualifiers. Round 5 of the Esso British Touring Car Championship, once again, Murray Walker.
For the first time in his touring car career, Blackburn's shoe tycoon Mike Newman is in an excellent pole position. Next to him, the redoubtable Andy Rouse. And that's Tim Harvey from Burford, third on the grid. And now we're inside John Cleland's Vauxhall Cavalier, but John's got a problem.
Tell me when they go green.
And lucky for John, he's in touch with his pits by radio, and they tell him. But he's slow away, and there's a bit of a nudge from the back there. He's onto the grass. Frank Sittner goes through, and at Old Hall, it's Rouse, Gravitt, Newman, Hathaway, Harvey and Walker. Then the 2 litre cars, in car with John Cleland. Ian Forrest BMW ahead of him, out of Old Hall, down to the fast left-hander at Cascades. And at Cascades, it's Rouse, Gravitt, Newman, Hathaway, Harvey, Walker, Bristow, Frank Sittner going through. In car with Gravitt, second, Rouse ahead. Round Island Bend, you can see a dry line there. It's been damp this morning. They're doing about 150 miles an hour as they go up to Shell Corner. This is where they are, second gear, 50 miles an hour. Rouse, Gravitt, Newman. In car with John Cleland, and he's off. He's onto the grass. He's lost it. No adhesion, no way he's going to stop. Straight into the tar wall. I can't ever remember John crashing a race car before, and he's been racing for nearly 20 years. Oh well, back out. Try again. What about the car? It sounds okay. Sounds okay. John fishing for gears a bit. It's going and it looks okay. That tyre wall really did its absorption job well. Druids, Rouse leads, Gravitt second, Newman third, Harvey fourth. Then it's Hathaway, Walker and Bristow together. Lodge corner. In car with Rob Gravitt. Down to Lodge at 130 miles an hour. Now round the corner into Deerlead. Fifth gear, they build up to 135 miles an hour as they come out of this. And at the end of the lap, the track still looks damp. Rouse is leading. Gravitt in second place in the white Sierra. Then it's Newman in the black one. Harvey fourth in the blue Sierra. Round the right-hander at Old Hall, and Gravitt is really pushing for the lead. But Rouse has got it. This is Cascades. with the water on the left. There goes the cue. It's a blistering pace. Now, this is a replay of John Cleland at the start. Excellent 8th on the grid. Fastest 2 litre. Graham Good ahead of him. Gets going. There's a little bump from the back. Onto the grass. Frank Sittler goes through. Now up to Old Hall Corner, the first right-hander. Ian Forrest's BMW ahead. And it's all traffic. He's onto the grass again there. He's shaping up to try and get past Forrest. Coming down to Cascades. There's Mark Hales' Mitsubishi going through on the right. Now this is Cascades. Cleland coming up. He's going to take Forrest in a minute. He's going to bob out from behind the boot lid of the BMW, and he does it. And now he's going to try and take Mark Hales. There's another BMW in front of him. Out round Island, and this is where he's onto the grass. It's damp. There is no adhesion. His tyres won't hold. The windscreen wiper's going. Here comes the tyre wall, and zonk, he's into it. Whoa. But up at the front, Andy Rouse leads Rob Gravitt, the 2 top men of 1990. Between them, they have won all 4 races so far. 2 each, very closely matched into Fulstons. Second gear, 60 miles an hour. Now up to the crest. Down to Knickerbrook, the fastest part of this magnificent circuit at Oulton Park. Rouse leading, Gravitt second. Well over 550 horsepower from their turbocharged engines. And that is Netta Lindgren, the woman Swedish driver, out of the race, the leaders. And it's difficult to see how Rob Gravitt is going to be able to catch Andy Rouse and get past him now. Down to Lodge, 2 wins each. Here's the right-hander at Lodge coming up, and Gravitt is challenging, and Gravitt is through. Rob Gravitt goes through, magnificent manoeuvre, through on the inside to lead as they complete the lap, and the pit crew from Trackstar is overjoyed. Gravitt, Rouse, Newman, Harvey, and the 3rd and 4th men are still very close together. It's a clear track in front of Rob Gravitt, and there are the BMWs, the 2 litres, and the Mitsubishi. Marnie, Hall, Hales, Forrest, Baird, Whale, Chalmers, and now we're with Jerry Marnie. He's leading this pack. It looks peaceful when you're with him, but it's all action behind, and here are the leaders. No quarter. Rob Gravitt in the White Sierra leading. Rouse second. Mike Newman is still holding off Tim Harvey, 3rd and 4th. So now, up to Druids, the right-hander. Can Andy Rouse do to Rob Gravitt what Gravitt has done to him? Take him at Lodge. They're using different makes of tyre. It can make all the difference from now on. It's still Newman in 3rd position. Still Tim Harvey in 4th position. Then Sean Walker. They're all in Ford Sierra Cosworth turbos. 2 litres, turbocharged. Terrific power. And Gravitt needs all of it to keep ahead of Andy Rouse. There goes Newman, that's Walker. Now the non-turbos, they're close too. Marnie, Hall, Hales, Forrest, Whale, Chalmers. Into the elite. In car with Marnie. He's leading this batch. And it looks damp. Yes, it is damp. He shows us where it's damp. Going out, and that's Cleland. Cleland locks up. He's done it again. John Cleland's done it again. And he's made a real job of it this time. Wow. Lucky he's got a reverse gear. Backwards onto the track. Bumper off. That's made the car a bit lighter anyway. Now, John Cleland has had virtually no sleep for a whole week because of all things he has had non-stop hiccups. It must have exhausted him. He must be furious. This is most unlike John Cleland. Now here's a replay out of Druids. Up into 4th gear. Down into 3rd gear. Lining up the car. Now the tyres are locked up. No way he's going to stop. In for the 2nd time. Here it is from the outside. And you can see straight in. And this time he really has damaged the Vauxhall Cavalier. Look at it. But amazingly, the car seems okay, and he's dragging a brake cooling pipe. Jerry Marney, Winker going, he's touring, Jerry Marney's in trouble. But now we're with Harvey, straight past Mike Newman into third position. So, Marney to the pits. I'm not surprised, up comes the engine cover. It sounded a bit rough as he went past. Well, there's the BMW four-cylinder engine. And here is John Cleland, that brake pipe hanging by a thread, and he's really struggling to keep up with the Vauxhall. Look at it. So there, third, fourth, fifth, it's as close as that. Harvey, Newman, Walker, Marney out of the pits. Now that engine sounds like old boots to me. Really rough. Look at him prodding at the accelerator. They're all streaming by. Marney rejoins the race. And it doesn't sound at all happy. Now here are Harvey, Newman and Walker, the three Fords. Still third, fourth, fifth. No change there. Going strongly. But Marney isn't. He's out of the race. He's pulling off the course. Jerry Marney stops the BMW M3. His race is run. So Gravett leads. Rouse is second. Here are Harvey, Newman and Walker, third, fourth and fifth. There's quite a gap now between the second and third, but Walker is going for fourth. Sean Walker, the ex-Sports 2000 driver, is attacking Mike Newman's Ford, and he's through at Knickerbrook. And that's about 130 miles an hour. Out goes the board, and Gravett leads. Rouse is second, just 1 second between them. And Andy's got something trailing now. It seems to be catching. Down to Cascades. And the BMWs. Frank Sittner is leading the 2-litre class, but Ian Forrest, Nick Whale and Hugh Chalmers are hammer and tongs at each other for places, trying to catch Mark Hale's Mitsubishi in front. On goes brake lights. Lodge. And Chalmers dives inside. Whale shuts the door, nearly takes the nose off the BMW. And this is Jeff Allam and Tim Sugden battling for second and third places in the 2-litre class. Here they come. Frank Sinner in front of them. Now, the rear-wheel drive BMWs have got a weight penalty, but it doesn't seem to be doing them any harm at all. Jeff Allam in second position. Tim Sugden behind him in third place in the 2-litre class. Sugden having a look inside. Allam closes the door. This is a terrific drive by young Tim Sugden, just as it was at Silverstone, and he's got flew. There's Sittner leading the class, second and third, Allam and Sugden. Out of Deer Leap, down into Old Hall Corner. Now the drop down to Cascades. There's Sittner in front. You can see there's not much of a gap between the 2-litre class leader and second and third. Here they are. Now up to Island Bend. This is very, very quick too. The course is drying out all the time. They're on slick tyres. Newman and Bristow. Then Newman's in trouble. Something's come off. Oh, look! Look at the left rear. The same thing has happened to him at Oulton Park has happened to him at Silverstone. He has blown the left rear tyre. And that's rotten luck for Mike Newman as his teammate Graham Good goes through. Now here's a replay. Let's see if we can see what happened. Newman's car jinks, something flies up at the back. That's because the tyres exploded in the wheel arch. Look at the debris flying off. Bristow pulls out, Newman tucks in. And look at the back of the Ford Sierra and just look at that tyre. There it is. Off the car, and no wonder Mike Newman had to come in. Absolutely shattered. He's got a new tyre on, he's leaving, but he's lapped. He's down to 22nd place. And here are the two BMWs battling for second in the 2-litre class. In the blue and white one, it's Jeff Allam. He comes from Lee in Surrey. The man who won the TT in 1986. Been driving for 21 years. Terrific drive from young Tim Sugden, comes from Bradford. This is only the second time he has driven for the Works ProDrive BMW team. Comes from kart driving and Formula Ford. And He's taken to touring cars like a duck to water. He's attacking Jeff Allen now. He's trying for second in the 2 litre class with Frank Sittner not all that far in front of them, and he's through. We're looking back now from Tim Sugden's BMW at Jeff Allen's car. There it is on the left, up to Shell Hairpin. Now you can see what a BMW M3 looks like when it's going at about 130 miles an hour. Look at those big wide tyres. Through Fulstons. Now we're coming up to the fastest part of the course. Nearly 140 miles an hour for these 2 litre cars. That's quite incredible. Up to Knickerbrook. The fast sweeping right-hander before Clay Hill. This is it. And there's Sugden, second in class. Jeff Allen down to third in class. And that is not a rebuilt John Cleland Cavalier. That is Chris Hodgetts in a second rear-wheel drive Vauxhall Dealer Sport Cavalier. He started from the back and he's being lapped by Rob Gravitt. Rob Gravitt goes through. Now we're with the race leader, Rob Gravitt, coming up to the closing stages of the race, up to Shell Hairpin. There is Andy Rouse. He's still only a second or so behind Rob Gravitt. It's been fast and furious for the whole race, but Andy Rouse cannot get up to Rob Gravitt, let alone get past him. Ray Arms in the pits. Looks as though his Honda Civic has got a problem, and so has Ian Forrest. It's busy in the pits. New tyres for the BMW. Tim Harvey, a lonely third position. He's well behind the leaders, but he's looking good for 12 points for third position, unlike Silverstone, where he failed to finish. Harvey, smooth and stylish as ever, the man who beat Andy Rouse at Macau. And here's Rob Gravitt beating Andy Rouse at Oulton Park. And if Rouse has got anything in reserve, now's the time to produce it, because there's not long to go. That is Frank Sittner. He's just ahead of both the leading Fords. He is leading the 2 litre class, of course, but he's about to be lapped. Now, through to complete the lap. Gravitt leading. Rouse second, into Old Hall. They've both got to get past Frank Sittner. The lead could change here. Down into Cascades. Sittner, Gravitt, Rouse in second place overall. 2 wins behind him. And Rob Gravitt has got 2 wins too. But what's important now is what is going to happen as the 2 Fords come up behind the BMW at Shell Hairpin. There's Gravitt leading the race. Ahead of him, the BMW of Frank Sittner. Behind him, the Ford Sierra of Andy Rouse. And that is it. Here they come. Go through, says Frank Sittner. And they go through. Through Fulstons. Now up to the crest. Foot hard down. Terrific stuff, this. 145 miles an hour, but for Andy Rouse, catching is one thing, getting past is another. He has caught Rob Gravitt. They're up into Druids. Now on the way to Lodge, and in front of them, another BMW. Godfrey Hall, he is touring though. He's going to pull over and let them through, I think. Yes, he has. So, Godfrey Hall is passed. Frank Sittner has been lapped. Into Lodge. Through to complete the lap. And Rob Gravitt really needs this win, because his Trackstar team need the money. And this is the last lap, out of Old Hall Corner, down to Cascades. Rob Gravitt is really trying. Whoops, he locks up the left front. Andy Rouse right on his boot lid as they come up to Island Bend. That's John Cleland, still rolling, but almost last now in the Vauxhall, after all his problems. Last lap, last time round Shell Hairpin. Rob Gravitt leads, right behind him Andy Rouse. Marvellous stuff. Rob has done the fastest lap. 1 minute 38.7, 100.9 miles an hour. Through Fulstons, absolutely together. If either of them misses a gear or misses an apex, it can change the complexion of the whole race. There's not much of it left now. This is Knickerbrook. And And that is a dispirited and exhausted John Cleland, gloomily watching the remains of the race. There's his Vauxhall Cavalier. Here are the leaders coming out of Druids. They're both very much in the race. And Rob Gravitt surely must win it. Down to Lodge for the last time. Into Dear Leap for the last time. I can't see how Andy Rouse can possibly get past him. He is not going to. It's going to be a third win for Rob Gravitt and the Trackstar team. It is a third win. Andy Rouse finishes in second place. And it's been a battle for supremacy every inch of the way. Frank Sittner winning the class and retaining his overall British Championship lead. Round the last corner, and there is Tim Harvey finishing in third place overall. Frank Sittner retains his championship lead then after, as ever, a super race at Oulton Park.
One of the best of the championship so far, but it completes a hat-trick of wins for Rob Gravitt, who's now taking a real grip on Class A. Andy Rouse tried everything he could in second. A lonely third for Tim Harvey. Sean Walker's having a good season, figuring well in the championship. Laurence Bristow taking fifth, and a tough battle between Hathaway and Good for sixth. Hathaway coming out in front. But a perplexed Andy Rouse, 2 wins this season, but now Rob Gravitt has 3.
Andy made me work for that really right from the start. I thought I might have been able to pull out after about 10 or 12, lap 10 or 12. No way, he had me on my toes all the time. That was the hardest race I've had for a long time. It's hard work out there.
By contrast, a shell-shocked feeling in the Vauxhall camp. John Cleland claims he's never crashed a race car before, and here he's gone off twice in 3 laps. A couple of rounds before, Vauxhall were mounting a real challenge to the BMWs, and that challenge will surely come again. But now Cleland is slipping behind in the 2-litre class, and also he's slipping behind in the championship as well. The main threat to BMW's Frank Sittner continues to be the pace and the consistency of Rob Gravitt. Both took maximum points from Oulton Park. 4 points remains the gap between them,